I read the Kiev Independent Digest and various dispatches from the leadership in Ukraine. And as someone who has noted the diplomatic problems and the um, perceptiveness of Russian leadership, as well as admired some of the Russian arts, it is, of course, a disappointment um, of great magnitude to have to face the facts regarding the outrage that's being perpetuated. I want to caution anyone who's looking for alliance from me with Ukraine that I have reported being poisoned, tortured, my loved ones targeted in a homicidal hybrid war, people who helped me murdered and raped. What's this about? I was just a law-abiding public school student, and all of the homilies and inanity and pro-Reagan digest and seething horror innuendos that came my way from McMahon, the University of Pittsburgh, and hybrid Patrick Buchananism and UWDialectical and forever pernicious King Crimson amounted to the Fernholer Bridge collapse. That was, and then Jimmy Creary did that. We did. Jimmy Creary did that. I mean, I took Native American history course. I mean, I could bore you with stories about how hard it was to get a Native American history course. I came to Seattle hoping to because the minority studies program at the college in Pittsburgh wanted to focus on African American. And I had taken every course they offered African American. When I went back, there was more, so I took more. I was interested in minorities. And Seattle Central dropped the Native American and wouldn't let me come to school anyway. So I had to go back and go to a distant North campus. So what was the South campus? Brant, I was coming home. I was getting home at midnight in a foot of snow to take this class. I took Native American. I have a great culture studies book that I look forward to reviewing and memorizing things I've forgotten. But there was this particularly to identify who the chief was, but he spent his life negotiating in good faith, forgiving, teaching the white man, and he died with curses on his lips so grave that it's the mindset of a person who would hit a button. Absolute hatred. He just, because he had been betrayed in that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I sympathize with the people in the Ukraine who've been betrayed. I'm sure many of them are in a horrifying situation psychologically, where hatred has become their only survival. When I went to UW Dialectical and said, what do you consider the psychological survival arrived at by hate? They said, they hissed at me a strategy survival, psychology. What else do you think it is? Because what they were saying was no matter how bad, I said nonviolent hatred. What do you consider nonviolent hatred? Because ultimately they see it as a trick. The way they operate is kissy lick, I love you, man, and then stab you full mighty blow in the back, and then say, while they're twisting it, they say, oh, it's because the white man. I mean, it's only one Malcolm X. This is splendid, the infinity of Malcolm X's. The white man has his knife in my back. The white man has his knife in my back. Why shouldn't I have my knife in the white man's back? They say we want a hate-free campus. Their military sociology guru has the hate that hate produced in big letters, and his minions seethe with hatred. As a tutor, what I'm getting at is, people get to the point where they say "f you." Okay, we know that, but we need to protect ourselves. And friends don't let friends get the message. No matter how much hate there is, it's an attempt to get you over, not get over the hurdle, but to get you over to the other side of humanity. It's to make you hater too, and to make you act on your hate, because then you evolve into Trumpy Tune echo terrorists. See, we need to get the message that we're not going to get the message. We need to get the message around that we're not going to get the message. Okay, we understand what has driven people to hate. We understand that. We don't want it to be contagious. We don't want it to become the last word on ourselves. We realize that people who say that I don't want to be a hater or putting a sign on the back side kick me in times like this, because there's a whole lot of treachery. And treachery will get hold of somebody, and they will make it bleed. And the minions of the message will giggle and sneer and corner you and whip around you on their bikes. And they will hold little class lessons like the Dawn Doe class lesson. Plenty of Dawn's Doe goes into those lessons. So when you go to Dawn Doe school, you've all day to learn the lesson plan, get the message. You see, we need to get a stylized group of understanding of what our administration has allowed with the subtext of their pro-Reagan, pro-Trumpy tune Hitlerisms. And, and from what I can see, Oliver Stone is networking a whole lot of gangs. That horrible No Time to Die movie that came out after COVID. Mm-mm. That's too much British fascism for me. And then he trot off to Brother Putin. Something's going on with these leapfrog people. And we have to make sure that we don't start getting the message, because when we're on the receiving end, so we have hidden the antennas. These brainwashers look at our brains as antennas. Now, that Oliver Stone, MFR, he's looking at your brain like your brain is an antenna.